Have you ever had an epiphany in the shower or when you were out on a run and you forgot your AirPods? The solution to this problem that's been plaguing you for months just came to you out of nowhere. What's that all about? It's about our thinking. And it's about having space and time for our brains to really process all of the information that we're cramming in them all of the time, and giving it an opportunity to actually let some things go, let some things out, and uncover that answer, that idea that's been there the whole time. This week on With Purpose, we're thinking about our thinking, which is a weird title for a pretty easy concept. And the concept is this. We want to make sure that instead of those things happening accidentally, we plan them and we give them space and we have them happen on purpose or with purpose. All right. Let's dig in. So thinking about our thinking, why does this matter? I hit it from the top, right? We are so busy. And if we are not careful, we let the tyranny of the now, the tyranny of the urgent, take over and run every single bit of our work life for sure, and probably family life too. We run from soccer practice to dinner to bath time to bedtime to wake up in the morning early to try and go to the gym, and then we shower and work, and we got 17 meetings scheduled, and somewhere in there we try and squeeze in lunch and a cup of coffee. And then we just repeat that cycle over and over and over. And there is no margin for error. There is no margin for just stillness. But that's not how we were built. That's not how our brain works. We need some space for things to just decompress, for the flavors in the recipe to all meld together to create something more beautiful than the tyranny of the urgent can in the moment. We've seen some famous people do this. So like Bill Gates was actually famous. He would take week-long think weeks, he called it, where he'd just go to a cabin by himself, a bag of books and a list of ideas or questions, and just be still for that week, read some books and think. Personally, I try and do something similar, not that, a couple times a year, where I will find a day, 2 days, maybe 3 days, tacked on to the end of a trip to another city, just to not have anything scheduled, to find some free time, to wander and explore, and let my brain defragment. Do you remember defragmenting your hard drive? That was a thing when I was in college. We had hard drives that were actually the spinning disk, and the way they stored data was all over the place. It was random, actually. And so every few months, your hard drive would need to be defragmented, which meant it took all of this random bits of data, and then it sorted it into buckets or areas of the disk that made sense, and things were closer together, so that made it all run faster. This is the same concept that we're talking about for our brains. We are giving it space to defragment. So it's important. We need to make time for this. But how do we do this? First easy step, just schedule it. That's the only way it's actually going to happen, is if you put it on your calendar and you make it a priority. I know if I don't do this, if I leave blank space on my calendar, I am tempted to fill it up or other people like Jack over here will just schedule stuff in there. They see these blank spots on my calendar and they think, oh, Ben's free. I'm going to get some of his time. And the same thing happens to you. So they just schedule meetings in there. So let's block it out. Let's put a 30-minute, an hour and a half block on our calendar and say, this is time for me to think. The next level of that is we want to make this a rhythm. So what I have done actually is I have blocked out certain times on my calendar that repeat every week for this. That's helpful because it's always there. So if I start scheduling things 6 months into the future, if somebody wants to have coffee with me at 7:30 on Wednesday morning, I know that I can't because I have this time block there that reminds me this is my thinking time. But also, I think our brains and our bodies like habits, and they like repetition, and they like rhythm. And so it gets us into this habit of thinking about things on Wednesday morning or whenever that time might be for you. So we want to schedule this block as a repeating time, making it a rhythm. And then the last thing that we have to do is we have to protect it because it doesn't look to most people like something that is important. They see a block that says thinking time or free time, or maybe sometimes you don't even label it, you just block it out on your calendar, and they think, oh, that's probably movable. I'm just going to schedule something over that, or you're tempted to do that. We have to protect it. And part of that is messaging that and telling your team that for you to be the leader that you can be, for you to make the best decisions possible for them and for the organization and for yourself, you need some time to think about things, to allow that defragging in our brain to occur, to allow those epiphanies that are in there somewhere. We don't know where. We can't find them on demand, but are in there somewhere to surface when we least expect it. Make sense? Okay, so that's the idea on With Purpose this week. We're talking about thinking about our thinking. Pretty simple concept, hard to actually implement though. I found it to be powerful for me when I'm good at it. So we'll transition now into our time of planning. We start with gratitude though. This week, I am grateful for some feedback that I received from a friend who was brave enough to tell me something hard. Man, it was hard to hear from him, but it was great. I needed it. And so, what are you grateful for this week? Next up, just write down the things you've been putting off. You know the drill here. And finally, let's move into our questions for this week. They're pretty easy, actually. You can probably predict them. First, look at your calendar and block off 1 hour this week for thinking. Find an hour on your calendar and just block it off. I don't even know what you're going to write in this box right here. Maybe you can write down when it is, I guess. But that's the first question for this week. The second challenge I have for you is to make that a repeating appointment. Now, for me, I know if I was starting from scratch on this, I would have to look a few weeks out to even have a chance of it. So that's okay. But look at your calendar into the future and put a little thought into when you want your recurring time block to be, and then schedule that starting 2 months from now, 3 months from now, whenever that needs to be, to when you can make it consistent. Well, I hope you were able to schedule some time for thinking this week, and in the weeks ahead. I have found this to be a really powerful concept for me. It's led to some ideas that have become some important parts of our company. It's led to some epiphanies in my personal life, like things that I needed to address that I wasn't even thinking about, and I hope it does the same for you. We'll see you back here in 1 week from today for the next episode of With Purpose. See ya.